Welcome again to Couch Conchology. This time I will show you some shells I bought at various vacation tourist shell shops or gift shops over a period of many years. So let's have some fun with those. My first visit to the ocean was my wedding trip to Galveston, Texas in 1980. Not only were there some shells on the beach, but there were several tourist shops that had shells for sale. I didn't put the dates on the labels of the shells I got in Texas, so some of the shells I got on the Galveston trip and others later were later visits, so I didn't keep that straight very well. But here's some of the shells I got. This really nice Pleuroploca princeps I got at a shell shop in Texas. And this Philonodus brassica is a really pretty one. It's got really nice color. I got this little volute. And I got this cowrie and several others that I got there too. Then this Strombus peruvianus I got at a shop in Texas. It's a little bit rough and beat up, but I didn't pay much for it, and it is what it is. It's still a fairly decent shell and that species. These were some shells I got at Shell World in the Kissimmee, Orlando, Florida area. Some rather unusual and kind of nice ones too. Got this little spondylus here, and most of the bivalves I bought were glued together. The valves are glued, and so far I have not soaked this one in water to try to separate the valves, but eventually I'll do that. This little ficus shell is supposed to be a rather rare species. After I got it home and found out what it was, then I wished I'd bought more of those. These shells I bought in Fort Myers, Florida, and I know that the place I went to, it was a shell factory there. I know I bought more shells than this. I don't know exactly where I have put all of them, but got some pretty decent ones here too. This Ferraria belkeri is a pretty nice shell, so pretty happy with those too. These shells came from a visit to the Shell Warehouse in Key West, Florida. Got some nice ones here too, so the collection just keeps growing a little bit at a time. This is a nice Turbo marmoratus. It's not as big as they get, but it's still a pretty decent color shell and kind of nice. Here are some great finds I got at T-Shirt City in Biloxi, Mississippi. This is a Vasum cassiforme that is really in pretty good shape, and I only paid $7 for it, so that was a really cool find. Then there's this huge Venus clamshell, the Periglyptum magnifica, that I paid, I think, $9.50 for, which was really a great find. I'm glad to get that one too, and a couple of other ones that are really pretty cool too. Some shells here from Shell World in San Diego, California. It's a really nice big olive shell, Cymatium, and this Callista that is also glued together, which I need to put in water and get that one soaked and separated too. Very pretty shell though, really nice shells. Super great find I got on this one. This is a Cymbium pepo from West Africa. Of course, none of the shells I bought came with data slips or the names on them, but this one was not too difficult to identify. I believe I only paid $10 for it, so it was really quite a good deal on it, and it's a really nice shell. I'm pretty happy with that one too. At some point in time on these trips, the vacation trips, we visited Sanibel, and we've been there several times now. But this is one of the shells I bought at a shop there, Sanibel Seashell Industries. And this is another West African shell species that is really unusual. And I was pretty happy to get that one too. It's really a cool shell to get. These two spondylus shells I got on two different occasions. This one came from a trip to the Ozarks I don't recall the year, but there was a cave that we visited because we liked to visit the different caves in the Ozarks and other places. The gift shop had this nice spondylus there in their little gift shop, and so I bought that. And then this spondylus was one that came from a place in Michigan. So once again, don't know what that one is for sure. I think this is Spondylus tenalis, but I don't know this species. They're really kind of hard to identify. So, but it's a neat shell too. I like the color on it. And a couple of great additions also there. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of these really great shells I got at the different vacation tourist shops. And I know there's some still around, not maybe as many as there used to be. I was at Nags Head, North Carolina about a year ago and went into that shop there. There were some things there I bought, and still along the coast, some of the areas, there's still some of the shops in Florida especially. I think the hurricanes have kind of wreaked havoc on some of those shops, but they've rebuilt some. And it's just a really fun place to find shells and just go in there and look and just have all kinds of fun. So I hope you had as much fun watching this as I did showing you all of these neat shells. So we'll see you next time on Couch Conchology, and we'll have another really fascinating shell subject to talk about.